Okay, welcome everyone. It is February the 2nd, 2026.
Two
And we are,
two 26,
yeah, it's a
22
special one.
26, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
nice number.
So, oh, I got to do one more thing here. Okay, there we go. Oh, I've got the wrong date. Yeah, so it's February the 2nd.
You
I'm a
did
day
this yesterday.
I did. I did. Well, I did it. I did it a while ago. I got the date wrong. Anyways, all good. We know it's February the 2nd. Okay, so we're in pages 102 to 104. Not too many this time because we're in a brand new chakra, and we're going to learn about the second dimension with Albert Einstein and humility with Lao Tzu and the law of intent with SK. So in the Divine Mother's Guidebook, Home to the Heart. Okay. So, oh, yes. Okay, so if you're wanting to listen to the audios, this is the circle to go in. My website's .ca, voiceoffreedom.ca. It's not a .com, it's a .ca. And everything's on the homepage. All the links and everything to everything. And if anyone ever wants to write an Amazon review, I know a bunch of you have, and I'm super grateful, but my publisher is really bothering me. So um, it helps with when they're showing the book to different bookstores and libraries and universities and other places where it can be if I've got, reviews. And so thank you to everyone that has. Really appreciate it. But if anyone wants to go in and do a review, you have to have bought like $50 worth of goods in the last year to be able to do one. But yeah, those reviews really help promote the peace, love, and joy for the planet. So yeah, I just wanted to remind myself to say something. Okay, so let's welcome everyone in the higher realms, our galactic friends above, and all the beings below on the planet, helping with this ascension. Thank you to the Mother and the mighty archangels, Sanakamara and the ascended masters, all the enlightened beings and beloved saints, and especially our guides and guardians too, who work 24/7 for us, and to Gaia for holding us for this really long journey that we've been on. So all our gratitude. All right, and let's surround ourselves with the mighty ones and remember that putting on the mother's cloak, that always makes us feel so good. It's very comforting. She says it's the cloak of freedom, of liberation, of truth, of power. And when you're working with the blue energy, it's always trust and faith and peace and our infinite potential, knowing that everything is forgiven in the higher realms. So Archangel Michael always, his energy goes across the wall where the door is, and then he stands in the corner. And then Archangel Raphael takes this beautiful emerald energy to the next corner, and Archangel Uriel with his silver to the next corner. And then it's completed with Archangel Yophiel and the magenta amethyst to this corner. And it's Yofi that has the Yofi dust that we can sprinkle everywhere. So I've got that little fairy to remind us. And it's Yofi that taught us awe, which is connected to the fourth dimension of magic, the magic and the wonder and the awe of life on earth. And then in the middle, Archangel Gabriel with her golden energy and the golden ascension spiral. And we're all traveling up through the different dimensions up the ascension spiral into the higher realms to create a new way of being on the planet. And of course, Sanakamara is very golden too, and he is the keeper of universal laws. All right, so let's ignite our tri-flames. This is a great exercise to do every day, even before you get out of bed, for the balancing in the physical form. And basically, it is the healing is connected to the blue of the flame, the awakening to the truth. Your spark of truth is right there at the base. And this is the self, the pink of the self. So I always do the beings quite pink. And the golden energy of the Father is the other side of the flame. And the blue and the yellow can interact. They don't have to be on, you can change up which side they're on. But the flames go around the pink basically. And if it's too difficult to see the flames, then just imagine them as roses where they're more steady. And I know that when I was doing this at the beginning, my roses were not the same size and shape. And that's the idea. You want them all to be equal. And then you're in that equality of the energy. And that's what's been missing on the planet here. So the more we feel that equality of the energy within, the more it transpires on the planet, as within, so without. Universal law. So breathe in the color that comes to you and pause a moment. And then on the out breath, drop right down into your heart chakra. And we're going to ignite the flames and expand the roses, ignite the truth of your being. So breathe the deep rose in the middle of your tri-flame, that pink diamond of your wholeness, and really feel how loved you are. Really breathe into that pink and sense it and feel how cherished and whole and complete you are, just the way you are. And then to the blue, breathe and expand that blue diamond healing energy of the Divine Mother and Archangel Michael. Feel that peace, that infinite potential, the trust and faith, and knowing everything is forgiven in the higher realms and that we can ask for that forgiveness. And then to the golden energy, the golden diamond action of being in gratitude, changing up your field into gratitude. So freely feel that gratitude for yourself, for your sacred purpose, for Gaia and the golden energy. And then braid these into one and just feel that energy just expand and extend straight up to source and straight down to Gaia. Just feel that divine alignment. And breathe the violet of Saint Germain. He is really present helping us with this. And breathe SK's golden energy, for he overlights us in this. He really wants us to understand the universal laws. The higher realms have need of the fullness of our support on the planet. And just let this energy flow right down to Gaia, our love for her from our hearts. And just feel that golden energy of gratitude, your own self-worth, and the sparkling energy that we have for this planet and for Gaia in the center of the planet. And just know you can always go and visit Gaia in the center of the planet and bless her and thank her for holding us. And it helps when we're in that golden energy, knowing our self-worth and that real sense of gratitude for yourself. And then it's just extended out. It gets extended out to everything on the planet. And that is our joy, the currency of the higher realms. Okay, so we are into the pubic chakra. And the second dimension, which is very much connected to the internet. It is not three-dimensional, this portal to this energy. It's not three-dimensional. It's very flat and moving, just like the internet. And we're going to study the blessing and virtue of humility and the universal law of intent here. So it is a communication center for peace, love, and joy, our loving service, our humility, which we're going to learn all about. And humility is not being humble. It's very much expanded by Lao Tzu for us and for Gaia. So let's just go on and just know this is the second chakra right here. So we've learned all about the root chakra. And the first dimension, really anchoring our self-love and self-worth into our foundation, our compassion, so knowing not to judge anything to be that real compassion for the self and then extending that out. And then the law of sacred purpose. Okay, and just know these lower chakras are all about this electric energy, the action, the currency of joy, and it's extending that out into our field. It's a real action. And then the higher chakras, it's more of a magnetic, the healing draw to speaking more and more peacefully, basically. It's a magnetic draw to the healing of the mother, and it's very peaceful. Whereas this is more electric energy, these lower chakras. It's more of an action. Okay, and just know these are a ladder of teachings that we're going in and out of, different dimensions, different growth patterns. And eventually, when we really, really anchor this all in, the whole system just falls away and we just are in that being of the self. But this is a tool to remember how things work in the higher realms. And this is a little bit about Albert Einstein. So back in 2016, he came through the channel, Linda Dillon, and in Florida. I traveled from Vancouver to Florida. I didn't know Albert was going to come through. And there was 33 of us in Linda's house. And when he came through, it was really astonishing because he was just like you would imagine him in physicality. He was wanting his chalkboard and he was he was explaining how he was going to make it really simple, but not to make it things complicated. So that has been one of my always trying to make things as simple as possible so we remember. But he was born in 1879 and he lived until he was 76 into the 1950s. And he explains that the dimensions are not as a ladder, but as a circle. No hierarchy, between them at all. Each dimension is equal, with each dimension having 12 planes or classrooms in which all life forms participate or have the capacity to participate, and each having growth patterns that define it. So we have access to all 12 of the dimensions now. We used to be stuck in the third for the longest time because our lack of self-love and lack of self-worth was so almost non-existent. We couldn't access the higher dimensions or even the lower dimensions. And the thing about them all being equal, sometimes people will say, well, the first dimension is, we don't really want to go there. But we do, we want to understand all the energy in each of them because it's important for the internal balancing and for the planet. So, and all the information is really exciting and necessary. So not one dimension is better than another. And then Lao Tzu is going to teach us all about humility. And Lao Tzu was on Gaia around 400 BC, so before Christ. He came again, reincarnated as Caspar, one of the three wise men, the Magi, who gave the gifts to baby Jesus, and he was the bringer of gold. More recently, he incarnated as Dwakul, the Tibetan, a teacher and master who works with the Tibetan lamas in spirit. And Darren knows all about this. Darren has been studying with Kathleen Kingdon for years, and Dwakul just brought out this book. And when was that, Darren? About a year ago now?
Um, hmm, yeah, it's been at least a year anyway. I forget exactly.
Yeah.
But Dwala Cole was teaching through Alice Bailey for many years before he started with Kathleen Kinga.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a beautiful book, and I think it's on Amazon, isn't it?
Came out in 24.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. And it's a great book. It's well worth reading. So and I can send out information. I know I wrote a post about it. So I can send out if anyone's interested, I'll put the link to the post so you can look at it.
It's a pretty heavy study. So it'll take you a few years to work your way through that book.
Yeah, it's got great energy. Sometimes these books, so I have a friend that's really struggling with an illness right now, and I just gave her one of my books, and she hasn't had the energy to actually even open it. But what she does is she just puts it on her chest when she's not feeling well, and she can feel the energy from it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a great way to do it, actually.
Yeah, and she's got lots of insights, and yeah, she was super excited to tell me that's what she's been doing. Mhm. So Lao Tzu is also a master of Lao Chi, hands-on healing. And if anyone's interested in that, I use that. Lao Tzu's theme is balance. He wears a white robe, has deep, laughing, kind black eyes and wispy white hair, and he balances a stick on his finger that he shares with us, a stick that doesn't move an inch, and he will explain that. He really wants us to stay in the middle, stay in balance. This is his way to show us. From Lao Tzu, we learn humility is understanding the importance of serving all, knowing we are all brothers and sisters, originally birthed from the heart of one, here to create loving community in balance on Gaia. So that's a little bit of a intro for those two. And then Snot Kabara, of course, he is the keeper of universal law and our universal logos. And a keeper is a holder of information, and so holder of the laws. And a logos is an overseer of the the mother's divine plan of unfoldment. So this is her plan that we are all involved in, that we've all volunteered to facilitate. SK, or Raj, as he likes to be called, is our friend and ally of one and all, and particularly of Venus and of Earth. So he is from Venus, he is Venusian. He welcomes us to this time of change, transition, opening, and the bringing forth of the Mother's divine plan. The Kumaras from Venus have worked on this project with Earth, with Gaia, for millions and millions of years, and he says it is with incredible joy and satisfaction he sees so many of us rising up and embracing the higher frequencies. He was known to ancient Persians as Ahura Mazda, and I drive a Mazda, to ancient Hebrews as the Ancient of Days, and to ancient Hindus as Subramanya. And he came to Earth as Quetzalcoatl with the Mayan calendar in Mexico, and says that there are very few civilizations that he has not been involved with, but he does not present himself as a god. He is our friend, has a great sense of humor, and he carries the scales of balance. So whenever you're working with the laws, it's good to be in a place where you can sit still and really listen to what he has to say. And it's information that comes through your heart center. And you'll, when you're in really deep meditation, you can see him and he stands right in front of us carrying his scales. So this golden energy that we're talking about, the action, the electric currency of gratitude, of joy, it's really deeply embedded in humility, which we'll learn with Lao Tzu. It is our self-worth. Yes, Ken.
Um, did you say scales?
Yes, yes. Yeah, these scales.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the balance of the scale. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
he carries these scales. They're golden. Yeah, so you can see them. He'll show up and he's carrying them. He likes it when they're in balance. See how I've got the scales in here? So it's balancing really the masculine and the feminine energy inside of us. When they're in balance, when they're equal, then it helps with everything. It helps with our healing. It helps with us really getting into our sacred mission and purpose. And then, of course, it just extends out onto the planet with every action that we take. So yeah, we're really changing up our field. We're changing our fields to change the world. Because when we change our field, it affects everything, from self to everything that we're involved with. So just surrender, deeply surrender, dive into the self in gratitude, incredible love relationship with your beloved sacred self for your sacred purpose. So just deeper and deeper and deeper into the self. And what we're doing is we're discovering our self-love and self-worth. We're discovering how loved we are. That's what's inside of us. Once the old systems dissolve, the old belief patterns that, that tend to recreate, once they are really neutralized and they're not repeating, it's all love and worth inside in perfect balance. So we're discovering it for ourselves and then extending it out from the first dimension. So this is how important the root chakra is. Really understanding that self-love and self-worth from the root. And so that self-love and self-worth, super important, foundational. And now we're moving up into the second dimension and the second chakra, the pubic chakra, to learn all about that. And it's this deep red color. See how this one's more like really deep red? This is the lower chakra, and then this is more of an orangey red. It's kind of like the red rocks in Sedona, and that's why I put that here, just to remind you of the color. But it is not two-dimensional at all, or not three-dimensional. So it's not three-dimensional. It's very flat energy, but this is the color. That's the color. And not to forget that you have this cord that goes right down to the center of the planet from the root chakra, from that deep red. And you can just follow that cord down and be with Gaia. And that's for grounding every day. That's a really great exercise to do, to just take your cord right down to Gaia and be with her for a few moments, say thank you, and then come back up. And your day will be so much better, because you're grounded. You've grounded yourself. You've brought yourself really into your body. Yeah, so the pubic chakra is very two-dimensional. It's flat energy, but it's moving energy. It's communication. It's a communication center. It's a communication of healing. So for the healing of the planet, actually. And humility, our service, is embedded in here, and the universal law of intent. Intent is the beginning of creation, but we'll get into that. So this is the root chakra, super important, understanding the first dimension, how foundational it is for self-love, self-worth, that non-judgment, that compassion, and sacred purpose, knowing we're all one family. Okay. So this is I think this is page 102 or 103 in the book, and part 1, book 1, part 2, the pubic chakra, the second dimension, the blessing and virtue of humility, and the universal law of intent. So our orange-red pubic chakra, located between the ruby red of the root and the bright orange of the sacral, it's a communication center. Albert Einstein tells us this is where we say, "Sweet world, I am here." Feel this chakra begin to spin. It's about the size of a quarter. Breathe out the color of deep orange red, clay, the red rocks of Sedona, old brick, the red mud of the Mississippi. So just close your eyes and feel the energy. And it's a breathe out chakra. The root was a breathe in. This is a breathe out because it's a communication chakra. Open this chakra and think and feel intention for our divine service, our humility. The pubic chakra is where we embody the qualities of the second dimension, communication far and wide in divine alignment. The second dimension, having no depth or emotion, is a creative, busy place with flat energy in motion. It's not three-dimensional. The internet is an example of this two-dimensional energy, a place where ideas can go viral. Human existence can often feel desperately lonely. We tend to limit ourselves with thoughts of anxiety and exclusion, old belief systems of separation and isolation. Understanding the qualities of the second dimension of reconnection and surrender to our divinity, of our interconnectedness with all things, knowing all energy is one, we support each other without drama, in compassion and humility, cooperation and communication and creation from this second chakra. And I'll never forget when Archangel Michael, he said one time, if you're really struggling, if you're triggered with someone and there's energy that's going back and forth, to do it through by email, because then you're not faced with the emotion of being in person with somebody. So you can do the letting go work, the communication back and forth. And it's interesting because it says it has no depth or emotion. So you can be standing back from all the, if someone's angry with you or we're angry, you can send it out and knowing that the person can just stand back from it by emailing. So it's a great way to do some letting go if you need to communicate your feelings. Okay. Okay, so yeah, understanding the qualities of the second dimension, reconnection and surrender to our divinity of our interconnectedness with all things, knowing all energy is one. We support each other without drama, in compassion and humility, cooperation and creation. And we end up dispelling the density, this is the old energy with gratitude for it. But sometimes we need to express it first. So you can express it more easily. It's more easily let go through by emailing someone or just standing back from being in the intensity of being in person. So we're not to deny our feelings, but we're here to work our way through them. And if you've got a good partner that you can work your way through this old energy, it really helps. So, but what I have found, if we can stand back from it ourselves and just be grateful for all the teachings from these old systems, then they will dissolve and our field becomes much more filled with gratitude and that sparkly energy of joy. So, but we're still in the letting go phase. There's still stuff coming up for sometimes. It's getting rarer and rarer, but being able to bless it, it just dissolves it really quickly. Mm. So yeah, not to deny your feelings, breathe, and just remembering, trying to be grateful for them. So that ego, when it pops up, that delightful part of the personality needs can tend to need a tremendous amount of reassurance. So again, being super grateful for yourself, the ego, and grateful for the ego, it will be reassured and just settles down. So that gratitude for the ego, then it allows you to operate in the higher vibration. So just being super grateful for yourself can change up so many things. Yeah, surrender into the gratitude of your sacred self. But not to deny, like if you're feeling like, so in a lot of the readings that I've done lately, people have said incredible emotions have come up in the last few days, deep grief and sorrow. So I think 3 people told me today that they had a really long crying session in the last few days, just because it's we're coming to the end of the year of the snake, and that is really the shedding of old ancient energy. So if you're feeling that, really go into it and let it happen, because the field to heal is very helpful. Yes, Darren.
There's also been a lot of solar flares in the last while, so they're really bringing up a lot of stuff as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's being driven up. It's good. It's good. Just let it happen and then be super grateful to yourself for allowing that to happen, taking the time and letting it happen. Oopsie. Okay, so here we go. Yeah. With the law of intention, we're going to learn all about divine alignment and just bringing ourselves into this balance, into this state of healing. It's a beautiful place right in the middle of the being of yourself, where we're not outside of ourselves. We're more and more operating from the center. And so it's the emotions stay more centered. Everything stays more centered when we're in the middle. But again, if the old energy comes up, let it out. Bless it. Yeah. Okay, so here with the universal law of intent, Sanat Kumara tells us intention is the beginning of creation. Most of us have been on Gaia many, many, many times, many adventures. We are yet again in another lifetime to consciously master peace, love, joy, balance, and for this to be integrated with our intention into our societies and systems. So the more we're in the middle and operating from the middle, we've let go of this old energy. We're grateful for it. We're able to bless it, not be angry or feel like old resentments and judgments about it, but we're just grateful for it. That goes right into whatever we're working on. The people that we interact with, how we send energy, the projects that we're working on. But Archangel Michael, and if we're out there in the field and we're doing the work or we're at home and the old comes up, Archangel Michael is at our side to help us cut all the old ties that bind all the ties because they limit us. And we're going to go into a technique where we invoke the sacred law of intent and Archangel Michael, that all fear and limitation, those feelings of inadequacy, be eliminated. And that is a primary intention right now. So yeah, this is an exercise that really works. But we'll go into it when we're studying the law. So yeah, we want to anchor in our root chakra, really knowing our self-love and self-worth, that compassion and that non-judgment. Okay. And then we move up into this one where it's a communication of the healing. Our repair work on all levels, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, is healing and regenerating. We communicate transformation verbally or etherically out to our physical world to bring our societies and systems into divine alignment. The second dimension is where we begin to communicate the idea of who we truly are into the physical realm. It's just like Albert Einstein said, "Sweet world, I am here." With intention, compassion, humility, and joy, we are here to bring this planet back to its original purity so it feels and is safe for everyone. Our orange-red pubic communication chakra reminds us to embody our humility, truly grateful for everyone on this journey with us, knowing with our mutual respect, gracious, compassionate interactions, and divinely aligned intentions, we incorporate the second dimension, conveying inspired ideas for healing and balance for ourselves, our societies and systems, the unfoldment of the Mother's divine plan, peace, love, and joy, unity on Gaia. Yeah, and that's that golden energy, really focusing on that golden electric energy. It brings us right into the middle. Yes, Ken.
Yeah, I was wondering, so if we're in a state or in a problem or we're having trouble, um, getting through this or a particular issue, um, would, sprinkling Yofi dust help?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, it would. Yeah, because then you know what it does when you do that? You're actually stepping back from everything that's unloving. You're stepping back and then sprinkling, whether you're sprinkling yourself or you're sprinkling someone else, you're stepping back from the old issue. So you're looking at it from a different perspective where you can laugh and sprinkle. Yes, it's true. And then you just know that these old systems have come down through the family lines. They're intergenerational. So then they're a human creation and they've come from our parents, and then that has come from their parents and their parents. It's been recreated over and over and over, and now it's time for it to stop. So we are the ground crew, the systems busters, really saying enough and using these tools to remind us that we're from the higher realms and we can operate from the center, from our heart consciousness. and truly let go these old unloving systems. The anger, the fear, the sorrow, the shame, the bigotry, the hatred. We're seeing it like when you look on the news and stuff, it's all over still. But the more we stay in the center, all that anxiety and limitation and control and greed, it'll all just dissolve. The more of us being able to be centered, 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 centered. Yeah. Like, and just sending that energy out, really sending it out. And it's a conscious practice. I know that I remember when it was several years ago when I really, really started working with this golden energy. Like I always felt it, but not as consciously as I do now. And it's a practice. You wake up every morning and you're in this state of joy, of gratitude for everything. And it stays. And if the old energy comes up, then you can deal with it really quickly. And yeah, it's using the breath, understanding all the chakras in alignment inside of us. And when we learn about humility, we'll really learn about the internal governance from Lao Tzu. He's a master at teaching this blessing and virtue. Yes. So any comments or questions about any of this information? I think that was it. Yeah. Yes, Ken.
Yeah, I was just wondering, so how deep do we want to go into understanding the issues that are out there in the world? So in other words, do we want to be aware of them and that's about it, or do we want to be in delve into them a little more deeply?
It depends what you're interested in. If you're like a transmuter of what's happening, what you're witnessing, it's good to have a pretty good idea of what's happening. But we're not here to completely ignore it. But it depends what you're interested in. I know that I'm fascinated with what's going on the planet because I like to see where things are opening up and shifting, but I don't spend a lot of time. It's about 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. And then I've got enough. I know enough. So I don't know. Are you spending a lot of time looking at it?
Well, um, not really. I read the headlines in
Hmm.
Golden Age, and then sometimes I'll read a little bit about it. But if I find myself getting too deep into some of the issues, I immediately try to get out of it.
Okay, and what you can do is you can sprinkle the Yofi dust all over it.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything that you're reading, like I'm looking at issues with China and issues with all the political things happening, and especially in Canada, there's a lot happening. So I'll stand back and I'll just and it's kind of fun because then you start laughing because we want to be in that joyful state, knowing that it's just part of the journey, what's happening, and we're out of it. We're not stuck in it anymore because we're able to see it from the higher perspective and from a different perspective. And what you're doing when you're sending love into it is you're helping it shift. We are way more powerful than we realize. So when you send love, like we do at the end, for 10 minutes at the end, and you're doing it consciously every day, that is the healing for the planet, basically. Hmm. Yeah. Darren.
Yeah, I think Buddha really had the perfect answer for that question. He says attach, which means gather information, find out what's going on, and then detach, stand back and observe. And then just like you say, send out love and do what you can that way energetically. Send out love, Yofi dust, whatever. And that's what you need to do, I think.
Yeah, and attach to the highest vision too. So attach, detach, attach. So then you're holding the highest vision for the planet, basically.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's good to be looking at what's not working. You're not putting your head in the sand like an ostrich or whatever. They told us not to do that, to have some awareness of what's going on, but just know it's the old falling away. And it's part of the journey. Everything is in divine order and divine timing, but we're here to hold the center. We want to be in the center, in balance, consciously in balance, and then be able to send energy out to change up the field. We're changing our field and then expanding your field as far and wide as it will go. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So on that note, shall we send out some love? Okay, let's do it. And even breathe. So I found this technique. If you put your two fingers together, or you put your fingers together like this, you can really feel the energy between the electric side of your body and the magnetic side, and that it creates a circle. It creates the oneness right there. And then even you can put it up around your heart chakra, or you can put it in your lap. I think this guy is doing something here. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it brings your breathing right down into your belly. So you're breathing from like the deepest part of your being. Yes, Darren.
Yeah, there's an interesting exercise you can do to feel that energy. You take your hands and you just feel the energy like that, and you can feel it build and build and build until you really get a big ball of energy in between your hands there. And you can just send that out to wherever you want.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good way. You can expand time doing that. Yes, there's so much energy where we have so much energy that's available to us. Yeah. hmm yeah. Okay. So let's do some sending. Let's send that love out into anything and everything that you want to send it to. War zones, family, wherever it needs to go. Okay. So we'll see everybody in 10 minutes. Okay. That's 10 minutes. Mm. That one was really fun. I could just, those fairy sparkles were flying everywhere. Mhm. Oh, we actually finished on time tonight. Look at that.
Wow.
Wow. Did you want to say something, Lillian?
I don't know.
No, I have
You
something.
did.
Oh, Ken
have-
wants to say something. Good.
Yeah. Well, one thought came into my head was about how when people act out,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they do it to figure out who they are and what they're doing because they can't do it just by thinking about it or feeling it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's, yes. So, and we're learning to be the observer, so we're not getting caught in their drama. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then, yes, if you can stand and send the fairy dust, it helps. It helps bring clarity for them too. Yes.
Okay, good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really fun to practice. We're just pilgrims on the path, trying to figure it out. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Well, that was fun. So yeah, we're just really anchoring into knowing the different colors of the chakras and what was I going to say? The different qualities that they carry. And it's the once you get the whole system anchored in, it's really helpful for staying in the middle. So this one that we learned about today, it's a communication chakra, and it's for really knowing that first dimensional balance and then communicating that through this communication center. Yeah, and it's very much connected to the internet. Yeah. Okay. Well, we will meet again next week at this time. Yes. Unless anyone else has it. Yes, okay. All right, good. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen.
You are
Thank you,
welcome.
everybody. Thank you for
Yes.
everything. Have a wonderful week.
You
Yes.
too. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys,
Bye
take
now.
See ya.
care.
Take care.